part of the problem is that most of these challenges incorporate things that are everyday household things. So there is a level of comfort and them feeling it's a benign situation.
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Farley Boyle.
I'm Darian Boyle.
And I'm Jennifer Brenius.
Collectively, we're two sister-in-laws with our bestie.
We don't just talk, we do it. Day, night, mountain, beach, and city.
Get ready as we bring gratitude and attitude to everything we do.
We jump in head first, unafraid, and we're all in all the time.
We bring it on and get it on each week, diving deep into authentic, unscripted conversations
on just about everything. So,
let's get gritty.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Don't wait until tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. We are at Bring It On Studios. I'm sitting here with my girls, and we are going to discuss all kinds of insanity today that revolves around the dangerous TikTok challenges. But before we get into that, how was everybody's weekend?
Weekend was great. Funny story pertaining to our last episode. We put my mom's dog down, Coco. She had bone cancer, so we said, okay, we'll cremate her. Went and pick up the ashes and run him home and put him above the refrigerator. Then I get a panic call, 5 in a row. Like, oh, why is the vet calling? Why is the vet calling?
Uh-oh.
Hello? You have the wrong ashes. Can you please bring him over? So I drop everything and bring him over. Of course, they're not Coco's ashes because the box was 3 times this size, weighed twice the amount. And then she hands me Sham's ashes. She's like, you forgot these. So I got a 2-for-1 deal. I was like, man, gonna have to plan a double funeral now. But oh my God, they were crushed. But I was
Can you
laughing.
imagine?
I'm slapping. I'm like, are you kidding?
How did the person know that it wasn't their dog's ashes? Because it was gigantor?
Because it's giant. And it also had my name on her bag. And I think, and it happened quickly, but nothing against the vet. I mean, I love our vets, but
That is crazy.
it was actually a positive thing because we got Shammy's ashes and I had been looking for them. Like, what do I do with them? We're gonna bury them. My mom has a really beautiful garden in front of her house, and Coco's ashes are gonna go there, and Shams are gonna go. It's a great spot. We have one garden that has some birds and fish. It's like our little.
Well, maybe that's the spot.
No, that's a good spot. Right. See, things are coming together. They're meant to be. How was your latest weekend? Bart, you know, had a big graduation.
Graduation was a blast. I can't believe it's over. It was so exciting to see all these people that are about to start their new journey. And as nervous as they are, they're excited. It's the right time. You know when it's time to close one door and go through another. So now we're going to be looking for apartments in the city. And Chase is going to have to start studying for some of her financial exams because she has to take one in the next 2 weeks.
My kids are home and I'm happy. This weekend's been another weekend of them being in transition before the internship and the real job start. We're trying to keep them busy. For those of you that have kids come home, they had their rules and now they're coming back into my rules. And we're still trying to get those to marry completely. but I'm happy to have my kids home. So it was a great weekend.
Tell us what is going on with the top 3 today.
Our top 3 really hits home here in the New York area. Number 3, do betting cheaters really win? What's up, MLB? The shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose have been posthumously added to the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure I agree with this decision.
Sounds like they're rewarding bad behavior. I mean, you know, the fact that they can give somebody an award after they pass, it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, and bad business. It's
Bad behavior.
they're reaching. And
Wow.
It's too bad because you're taking it away from someone who really, really deserves it.
They're being celebrated for doing something that was illegal.
Right. And whether you were really good at your craft, sport, whatever it is, it's tainted by your cheating, and it should be.
Look what happened with Penn State University with the Sandusky. They took Joe Paterno's statue down in 2 nanoseconds. You can't tell me that Joe didn't kind of know what was going on. There's just no way. Don't reward bad behavior. That's the motto here.
Yes. And sports have rules for a reason. Let's stick with them. All right. Number 2. Magna Sum Carta. Wow. Harvard, they just had a $27 investment 78 years ago in what they thought was a fabricated replica of the Magna Carta. Now probably worth millions, tens of millions of dollars found in their archives. Pretty amazing.
The Magna Carta is where a person that has power relinquishes power through some checks and balances so that they can't just be overly oppressive. So that's summing up what the charter stood for. It was a very important piece of our history.
For sure. That's the love of the drug. It's actually gone somewhere, and you get something from like a flea market, and then you find out that its value is
like Antique Roadshow, which was my mom's favorite.
Such a great show.
Totally.
All right. And our number one here in New York, trains, planes, automobiles. Can we literally get a break with this new New York Transit Union strike? It couldn't come at a worse time.
Uncle, they did that on purpose. They're looking at it like, hey, the Subway series kickoff is tonight.
All shows, the mix. Problem is everybody wants to strike because they end up getting more. So, hey, let's put it together. Let's time it perfectly. My husband, Jeff, went to the PGA last week. He got there at 12:30. 8:30, he took off, got on the runway, and they said, yeah, it'll be we're number 32 in line to take off. I don't want to travel. I don't even want to go to the city. You have to drive, and then you get whacked with the fee to drive your car.
They're protesting because they haven't had a raise since 2019. They want to create havoc. There's a Shakira Pitbull concert happening, game 6 with the Celtics versus the Knicks at MSG. And then you've got the Yanks playing the Mets in the Subway series. They picked a very good week end to strike.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get things done, you want to wield your power, you got to do it when people are going to be paying attention. And if I can't get to these amazing events, it's the great time to pick because everybody's paying attention
on mass transit. The Subway series says it as it is. The next thing that I wish was going to be taken out of the playing field because of terrible behavior is TikTok. Back when we first launched our podcast, I want to say it was our 3rd episode called TikTok Time's Up or Not. This has been the great debate. We're going to discuss all these horrific TikTok challenges where people are dying, getting injured, committing suicide. How is this legal? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why are we just going along with the gag?
I think it comes back to getting punked. If you don't know what Punked was, a show back in the day, I'm going to say it's probably 25 years ago now with Ashton Kutcher, and his claim to fame was being silly and practical jokers. That's another one that all came to be because it's a shock value. And TikTok has taken it to the next level because these old shows were curated on television and everybody was kind of in the gag and there was a guardrail. And now with TikTok, there aren't guardrails.
TikTok is a fun, creative way. It's an amazing platform to showcase.
They sucked us in with that.
Make some friends, beautiful, and I'm going to do a dance. Everyone started with, let's just copy a dance. Let's copy a song. Let's copy something else. I mean, Jackass, who didn't love Jackass?
Oh my God.
Like, I had
Johnny Knoxville I was attracted to, and Steve-O is the biggest nightmare on the planet that was willing to put his life on the line every time.
You saw them, you're like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. So now you have this TikTok platform that all of a sudden these kids, because you're glued to your cell phone, are doing them. And they are dangerous. And I was in the car this morning with my niece, and we were talking about the one chip challenge. And we were talking about all of them. And she said, oh, yeah, Christopher Strider did it. And basically, there is a chip, and it has scorpion pepper on it.
It was promoted by Pequi tortilla chip.
They went to 7-Eleven. They had milk, and they did it inside of 7-Eleven, and they said it just lit up. He sent me photos, and I was laughing because growing up with my family, I would have done it because we would have been there.
My God, Brucey grows hot peppers.
So my brother grows hot peppers, and he does his own hot pepper challenge. He will give you peppers, and he has the hottest peppers that you could possibly make. If you take the first bite, you're fine. The second, third bite, it lights you up. That's just one that hurt a lot of people.
If you Google the scariest TikTok challenges, it's a classic because Steve-O is doing an awareness PSA, and he goes through the top 10 list of which ones he thinks are the worst. And he's not making light of it. For Steve-O to say, hey, this is uncool, they've taken it to the next level, people are dying, people are ingesting chemicals that are causing problems, you know it's bad because Steve-O could have died 150 times on Jackass. And if he's the TikTok spokesperson for safety, you know there's a problem. I strongly recommend that you Google it, the skull breaker. That was one. I could see him doing this. It's where 3 people stand in a row and they jump at the same time, but the person that's in the middle does not know that they're going to leg sweep him and he falls back without any support whatsoever. And skulls have been cracked and people have had concussions and people have actually hemorrhaged. And Steve-O was like, I do not condone this, even though I probably would have done it. And he's
That when someone would kneel behind you and then you'd push them and they get launched and you'd whack your head. And I was watching,
what is that called? The table? I can't remember. It was like,
and my brothers used to do it to me all
Yeah.
the time, do it to them. But the skull breaker challenge, I was watching a father and the son do it to their brother or the younger son and this little boy, and they're like on the grass, and the one dad jumps and the brother jumps, and then the little boy jumps and the dad swipes his legs, he launches back and like whacks his head.
at least he was on grass.
But we would have done it 1,000 times over. It's just
Crazy.
But it's funny until it's not funny. And that's the problem. And you know, and I know Farley has a bunch of ones that she wants to run through. The issue is that the average age of the kids that are on TikTok are 13 to 17 years old. And a lot of the kids that do the challenges are boys. And again, mom of boys, that their brains aren't developed and they don't understand the risk. They don't understand you should be on grass when you do the skull breaker. They don't, think about the fact of like what's behind you when I'm launching you off of something. I'm very concerned about all these challenges.
57% of TikTokers are kids in that 13 to 17 age range, and they are on TikTok every day. I'm going to tell you about one that Abby did, and it was terrifying. And I didn't even realize that TikTok was a thing when this happened. She was in 8th grade, to tell you the truth. And it was the salt and ice TikTok challenge. People will take salt and they'll put it on the top of their hand, on their wrist, on their leg, wherever they want to do this challenge. And regular iodized salt worked, and you pour it wherever you wanted to. Abby happened to pour it right on her wrist, and then she followed it up with an ice cube and held it on there. And the blisters that appeared almost simultaneously and the scarring that ensued post recovery, when she went to school with this crazy thing on her wrist, she got called into counseling to your guidance counselor, because they were concerned that she was having some type of a crisis in life and might have tried to take her own life or was cutting. And that was my wake up call to how TikTok goes viral and kids are susceptible because of peer pressure or because it's the cool thing, and they jump on the bandwagon without knowing what the end result is going to be. And these kids are really getting injured. And she's lucky that was all it was.
Well, and they want to get followers. Let's be honest. It's the whole reason why you do
they
these
video
challenges
it and
is to get 1 million followers. And that, because of the virality of TikTok, that can happen in 2 seconds. But the problem is that as soon as I do it, and let's say, Farley and I, we have a similar overlap of followers. Now Farley has to outdo whatever I did. So you're automatically scaling something in a way that it's got to be bigger, faster, harder, more complicated, more this, more. I hate to even talk about the challenges, which we need to, because I feel like then we feed the challenges. It's like you didn't know about it until you know about it. And if we go back to the episode when this should have been shut down last year, and then it was given an extension to June. So ByteDance should have to have separated from TikTok by June, because it's a Chinese company. We're playing into the hands of our stupidity, our need for more, and capitalism and likes and everything else. And I think that's the biggest challenge about keeping kids off TikTok. And it's not a place to get your news. It's not a place to get good information. It's a place that breeds big, huge problems.
Steve-O was like, I used to do that.
and it all is based, you video yourself and you choke yourself until you pass out. And the whole video is about you going whatever you're choking yourself with, and then you black out. But there's been all these deaths.
And the reason people are doing this isn't just to black out. It's the adrenaline rush when you come back. It's terrifying.
I wonder, what is the point? Look, it's fun to see monkeys do. People are always up for a challenge, and these are scary.
Mackenzie Boyle did one. That's another kid that I'm going to throw under the bus that also made me realize she wanted lips, big lips. And Kylie Jenner was just coming out with all of her big lip products and lip liners and whatever she sells. I'm not a buyer. If you suck on, I want to say you could cut a water bottle in half, keep the cap on it, so you've got the round, bigger part of the water bottle, and you suck it in for quite a while, or even a shot glass, your lips end up, they become gigantic because you're breaking capillaries. And when Mackenzie did it, and obviously these videos were surfacing everywhere, Mackenzie's lips were so huge, but then they hurt, and she had broken blood vessels and they weren't going down. And we were scared for a minute there, and eventually it did subside. But a lot of kids have really injured their lips, and you can go on and still see these ridiculous videos. And Kylie Jenner had to come on and say, hey, I'm a fan of big lips, but not by going out and trying to do the lip challenge on TikTok. It's nuts.
What about the NyQuil Chicken, sleepy chicken challenge?
Disgusting.
Chicken in NyQuil or any sleep agent. And then the hashtag is sleepy chicken. But according to the FDA, this medication,
Can you imagine eating the chicken, first of all?
and it's more concentrated than any kind of poison out there, and it's life threatening, and kids have died from it. So who would, first of all, NyQuil is disgusting. Nevertheless, have it be your sauce for the chicken.
Parents, if you're listening, this is why we are trying to familiarize you with these trends. You might not want to talk about it with your kids because, like Jen just said, you don't want to feed it, but you need to be in the know, because we were sitting down over Mother's Day weekend with our nieces and nephews, and we were talking about these things that are absurd. I was reading a list of them, and they had heard of every single one of them,
Of course.
and had tried a lot of them.
Of course.
And we were disturbed, and that's where we decided to come up with this topic.
Well, and part of the problem is that most of these challenges incorporate things that are everyday household things. So there is a level of comfort and them feeling it's a benign situation, like your point on the NyQuil. Like, it's not a medicine cabinet. It's not something you're taking that is fire. They think there's like a guardrail, again, back to that, that's built in because I can go buy it at my local CVS. But the problem is that the complication of so many of these chemical reactions, when you put things together anymore, create an enormous problem. And the amount that you're taking or doing things with, like, can create an issue on itself. It's not meant to be immersed in NyQuil. Nothing's meant to. You're meant to have a teaspoon or a tablespoon. But did you see the one that there was a boy who was just killed last week in Maryland? They have a ding dong ditch challenge. Now, meanwhile, ding dong ditching in our community has been something that kids did
that
when
our
they were
kids
young.
did.
When they were young. Well, now there's a TikTok challenge that you videotape yourself, of course, because everything has to do with the videotape. And a young boy rang the doorbell, ding dong ditch, and he was shot and killed a week before his prom. And it was a benign situation, but people are afraid. People are armed, and there are a lot of places. What's the rule, Darian, where it's like your castle, like you're not allowed to come on other people's property, and I can shoot you in certain places. It's like stand your ground, I think.
If you happen to get a flat tire or something happened to your car, you absolutely cannot walk up to any doors because you will get shot. And people have been shot getting a flat tire and walking up and being like, hey, can you help me? It's so bad. And you just can't ding dong ditch.
Yeah, I think it was Virginia. This kid got killed.
How about the tooth filing challenge? Kids are going and they get any kind of knife or file or sandpaper and they file their teeth down.
To remove chips because they don't want to get their parents involved or have to include a dentist to fix a problem. So
Nail files, and they're ruining their teeth because they're very young and they're watching other kids do it.
I think this is the worst challenge that I read, and I have pages and pages of notes that I've made. The game, but it's also known as the Blue Whale Challenge. It's a 50-day challenge, and it starts out kind of easy, like turn on at 6 o'clock in the morning when you wake up this radio station and write down the first song that you hear. It can be very benign in the beginning, but what ends up happening is it's almost a blackmailing challenge. The person that's instrumenting it has information about you because now you're giving them intel back. And the way that I read it is at some point you end up carving a whale in your arm, which is the marker to let people know after this challenge is taken. Well, the final task, the 50th challenge, is suicide. And so it's basically taking you from 0 to 100 but they somehow figure out what's your deepest, dirtiest secret. So you're coming to the table with information like maybe in the 20s or the 30s, and now they're making you feel terrible about yourself, and they're preying on your insecurities, and they're making you do more and more things that will lead you to the end result, which is suicide.
My question, and I pose this to you guys, is like, who's the they in these challenges, right? Like who's like, and this is
Evil,
where I get
devil,
concerned. But this is
satanic.
But this is back where I do feel like China, this is nefarious and this is intentional. And the fact that we don't even really know who the they is, like, okay, the they is some really terrible person. Well, who is this they? Like, and why is this challenge gaining traction? And nobody,
The great Oz behind the curtain, only like off like a hideous human.
but
Or
none of
whatever.
these kids would come up with this idea on their own. And that comes back down to my fundamental issue with the technology of everything, is that when we're on the backs of other people's ideas, good, bad, or worse, we can take things next level. And that's what this is all about, is taking things next level. And that
Oh yeah.
that in itself, like I feel like we need to pull back the layers on this developmental and like evolution of TikTok, social media, all of it, because we are not, as a parent, I know I am not equipped by myself to handle this. I'm not.
We're not.
I don't know half of what's going on my kid's phone. I don't participate on TikTok.
They prey on
we should be on TikTok as podcasters.
They prey on our kids. Listen, they prey on our kids. They do something that seems like fun at the moment, like the cha-cha slide challenge. Everybody likes that song. So now they want you to play that song while you're driving and slide to the left in a car lane and slide to the right. It's almost like a drinking game. Every time they say whatever, you take a drink. Well, they just turned it into a song, and now you're behind the wheel driving.
Challenge where you get a gallon of water and you dump out half of it. Then you fill the other half with vodka or whatever kind of alcohol you want. Then you add an electrolyte into it and you shake it up. And kids still to this day, that's their way of drinking and having their giant cocktail that they carry with them. And that has accumulated 74.7 million views. That's how many views. If you're out there like, oh, I'm gonna have a Borg today. Like the three of us could be kicking it right here, cheersing some to the Borg, and it's just promoting
Drama sells. People like, ratings go hand in hand with bad behavior and crazy things. How about the silhouette challenge? That's where you take a picture of yourself in
I
a
hate this.
very illuminated, normal clothing situation, and then you take down your lighting and you reveal your body. But what they don't realize is people can manipulate that photo and all of a sudden bring the exposure up, and they're seeing your face. And now you're exposed, and that picture can go viral, and or you could become preyed upon by a scumbag. So scary.
numerous, endless TikTok challenges.
Right. And a lot of them are illegal.
I think certain challenges have been stopped, like the one chip challenge. They don't manufacture that chip anymore. So the whole point is you have to educate your children.
Well, there's the one about the fires right now. You saw that the one in New Jersey with the Chromebooks, and you're supposed to put in something to disrupt where the battery and the conductor. Yep.
Yeah.
It's halfway out, and then they stick a penny inside of
They can stick anything in it.
And it causes a spark and
Fire.
Stryper said one of the kids in his class did it and actually used a piece of aluminum,
and it blew up their computer.
but it causes fires within like the houses and schools.
So who is this person that came up with this once again? Like, who is this sadistic group? Or I can't even wrap my brain around it. It's so bad.
Well, that's the problem. Going back to the social media, all of it is that you don't have to know where it originated. And it's really hard to pin the tail on the donkey as to who's responsible. Because here's part of the problem that I have with everything. When it comes to corporations and our government, is that they put the onus on, well, you need to parent better. You need to be on top of your kid. You need to know what they're doing on their phone. And the problem is the technology and all of these challenges, they go as fast as they possibly can to keep you not on point and on trend. As soon as you know about it, that challenge is probably passed. As soon as you have an issue, they've moved on to something else. and they can move that quickly.
How about the Firetruck challenge? Now, as a mother of girls, this stresses me out, and you need to know it as the mother of boys.
25 years old is when the brain is fully developed, people.
It's replacing spin the bottle or maybe like 10 seconds in heaven or in the closet, whatever it is. The green light, red light. The Firetruck challenge is where a boy puts his hand on a girl's thigh and he starts moving up the thigh if she gives him a green light. And if she tells him it's a red light, it's where she would want him naturally to stop. But it's usually in front of a group, and it's peer pressure oriented. And once again, and then on that note, I want to follow it up with the National Rape Day Challenge, which is April 24th. I think this is so sick that rape is okay on that day, almost like The Purge, where you can just go out, that movie where one day it's just complete lawlessness. And you really have to familiarize with all of these, because if you can find it on Google and it's listed, it's out there. Kids have consumed it. They're aware of it. Please, we cannot express enough concern about how these are detrimental to life. Have a conversation with your kids. Acknowledge that you are in the know. They'll think you're cool. One time my kids did a TikTok challenge to me. I had no idea what they were doing. It involves, some of them are very funny. And during COVID, my kids decided that I was the perfect dummy to use on some of their TikTok challenges. And one was this spoon challenge where somebody was behind me, I did not know, hitting me on the head, but the person in front of me had the spoon in their mouth, and it looked like they were just hitting me over the head with the spoon in their mouth. And I was getting drilled from behind. And so I was trying to actually hit them by jumping up with the spoon in my mouth, which I could have lost teeth doing that. And I couldn't get the same velocity that they got on me, and they videoed it and it went viral. I mean, we got a million, trillion, zillion likes because I was a moron.
But it's funny until it's not funny.
Exactly.
It's funny until it's not
Funny
funny.
until it's not funny.
And that's the problem. And the problem is that you don't understand where whatever you do, what the ripple implication is to somebody else. You might do something that you think has anything to do with, you're in your car and you're doing a challenge, and you don't know that the person next to you is dealing with something and they're not paying attention because they're in their head,
Or they're filming.
Or what. It's bigger than just TikTok. It's social media. And it's the problem that we are ill-equipped to deal with all of these moving targets, and our children are susceptible. And, I truly hope that we take a little bit more control back on TikTok in particular. Like I said, June, it'll be out to see what happens with the ByteDance. I hope that we have some guardrails and some rules in which that things have to operate, and they can. I know they can, because there are cookies that follow you everywhere and they know where your data is coming from. Somebody knows where these challenges originate, and they're hiding behind the veil because they don't want them to go away, because it creates too much money on these kid influencers, on these marketing opportunities for businesses. Everybody wants the next trend. Everybody wants to go viral. And that's the inherent problem with all of this. It's not going to go away.
It's true. Well, we hope you've learned a little bit from us, and that you will take a look at what is out there for people you love to consume and try. And I hope we put an end to that. And that is going to lead us to something a little bit more positive. And that would be our Got Grit Award recipient of the week.
So our Got Grit winner of the week is Sarah Ashlee Barker, the Alabama basketball star. She is the daughter of Alabama football great Jay Barker. And I was watching her on a presser after the Sweet 16 where they lost. And you felt her completely open up and talk about how much her years at Alabama have meant. During the game, she had scored 45 points, sank 3 straight, which put the game into overtime. And then Maryland ended up beating them. But she put all the pressure on herself trying to get those threes to get her over the line. And at the presser, she said, the Lord, he got me here, and we were either going to win or we were going to lose. When she sat there, she composed herself because she was all teared up. She said, this sport is about making relationships with the people that I've played with for the last 4 years. It's not about getting to the next level. She opened up her heart and her soul to everybody out there listening to her. And she had the courage to do that. She talked about how on her wrist, she has Isaiah 41:10, and it says, I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. And she said, the Lord is her rock, win or lose. I gave it my best. I have a woman who's up there not crying because she lost. She's saying, you know what? I'm going to miss these women because they became my family. And when I fell down, they picked me up. And when they fell down, I picked them up. It shows the bond that they have in a sport where there's so much pressure. And you got goosebumps watching her and how passionate she was about the sport. And Alabama and her coach, Christie's athlete, really talking about what it's meant those last 4 years that you spent at college with your team. And you gave it your all.
Love it.
And now Jen has a special lyric, which belongs in a even better song.
Yeah.
We don't know it. We're going to guess it.
Okay, this is a little bit obscure, but it's something I want to put on everybody's radar because it's something that can help you through challenging times, and it just is very uplifting. So it's within the song. I'll try not to complain about the things I've lost, because when you have something great, that just means there's a greater loss. So when you look at yourself, tell me, who do you see? Is it the person you've been or the person that you are going to be? Don't take your life for granted.
Ooh. Is that Need to Breathe?
No, it's not. It feels very Gaelic and Scottish to me when you listen to it. It's Greg Holden's Hold On Tight. And it's a beautiful song that just empowers you to understand that life isn't always perfect, but it's yours and make the most of it. So Greg Holden, Hold On Tight.
All right. I'm going to listen to that. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
All right. I felt like when you read the lyric about something lost, it doesn't come without a cost. I felt like maybe I was trying to like keep up with it, but I was wrong.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Okay. Amazing.
Well, we are excited to have you tune into us again. We hope you will go back to our episode on TikTok and see that it's still a very important topic. So go back and listen to that episode.
And coming up next, we're going to talk about the evolution of Sports Illustrated and how it used to be the most coveted campaign cover to get glorified only for supermodels. And now inclusivity, all ages, shapes, sizes are included in each
Issue.
Inclusivity is a huge factor in each issue.
Amazing. And it's perfectly time for swimsuit season. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Girls Gone Gritty. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty.
You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
If this episode hits home, share it with someone who needs to get gritty.
The 3 Gs, we'll see you next week.
Peace out.